He studied under streetlights because he had no home. People pitied him, but he never pitied himself. And one day, he wore a graduation cap, because knowledge doesn't just build destiny, it creates it. It was a cold night in the city. A young boy named Liam Parker sat under a flickering streetlight, clutching a torn notebook. Cars passed by, headlights washing over his face for a second, then disappearing into the dark. No one stopped. No one noticed. Liam's world was small, a cardboard box near a notebook store, a few worn-out clothes in a plastic bag, and dreams bigger than the sky. He wasn't waiting for luck. He was building it. Every evening, when everyone else went home, Liam walked to that same streetlight. It was the only place bright enough for him to read. His fingers were numb from the cold, but his eyes, they burned with determination. He read every book he could find, math, science, history, anything that could pull him closer to his dream. The librarian, Mrs. Evans, had noticed him long ago. She'd quietly leave old textbooks in the discarded pile, knowing Liam would find them. One night, an old man walking by stopped and said, "Kid, you're wasting your time. Books won't fill your stomach." Liam looked up, smiled faintly, and said, "Maybe not. But they'll fill my future." The man walked away, but that line, it stayed with him for years. Days turned into months. Rain or snow, Liam was always there, head down, focused, unshaken. Sometimes, strangers dropped coins beside him, thinking he was begging. He never asked for money, only knowledge. He dreamed of becoming a teacher. "If I can't change where I come from," he'd whisper, "I can change where I'm going." When exam season came, Liam cleaned himself up in a public restroom, wearing donated clothes that were 2 sizes too big. He walked barefoot to the nearest high school to take his qualification test. The supervisor frowned when he saw the blank space on his form. "You don't have a home?" Liam smiled softly. "Not yet, sir. But I have goals." That day, he wrote every answer as if his life depended on it, because it did. Weeks later, results were posted, and the impossible happened. Liam ranked among the top 5 students in the district. His story hit the local newspaper. Homeless teen tops exam studying under streetlight. Suddenly, the same people who once ignored him stopped to shake his hand. The bookstore owner gave him a job sorting old novels. Mrs. Evans helped him apply for a scholarship, and just like that, his life began to turn. Liam studied for years, sometimes hungry, always hopeful. He learned that pain wasn't a punishment, it was preparation. After countless failures, sleepless nights, and endless faith, the day finally came. He stood on a university stage, wearing a suit that didn't quite fit, and a graduation cap that kept slipping to the side. When his name was called, Liam Parker, he walked across the stage to thunderous applause. He looked up at the bright lights above him, lights that reminded him of that streetlight from years ago, and he whispered to himself, "I did it. I really did it." No one in that audience could ever understand the battles he'd fought, hunger, loneliness, doubt, but they saw victory in his eyes. Later, when reporters asked him what kept him going, Liam said, "The world took my home. But it couldn't take my dream." Years later, Professor Liam Parker drove through the same city, no longer homeless, no longer forgotten. He stopped by that same streetlight. It was brighter now, freshly painted, surrounded by the hum of life, and under it sat another kid. Holding a book, Liam smiled, eyes glistening, because he knew, the fire was still alive. Mortal, you may lose everything, comfort, money, even a home, but if you keep your mind alive, you can rebuild it all, because knowledge doesn't just change your life, it creates it. If this story touched your heart, remember, every dream begins with one choice. Never give up. Subscribe for more true stories that remind you, nothing is impossible.